Crimson Trace announces Link, the world's first wireless laser and white light system, combining a green laser and 300 lumen light with instinctive activation for AR-type rifles. Link, smart, simple, secure. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
This is Tom Gresham's Gun Talk, now available on iTunes and other podcast clients, and on the free Gun Dealio smartphone app for iPhone and Android. Feel free to call Tom now at 1-TOM-TALK-GUN or 866-825-5486, or email Tom at guntalk.com. Now, once again, here's Tom.
Welcome back. Tom Gresham here. 866-TALK-GUN. Get you in, or just dial 1-TOM-TALK. Gun. Of course, we're always looking for your range reports. What have you been shooting? What have you been buying? Have you taken anybody out to the range and introduced somebody to shooting? Any kind of interesting experiences? Oh, by the way, did you see we're doing the Facebook Live videos? Did you see the one that Ryan did this week where he showed the cool or weird, I don't know, whatever you call it, the Red Ryder sniper version? Yes, it's a Daisy Red Ryder with a scope. It's hilarious. The whole idea of it is just outrageously funny. I just love the sniper version. I guess you could shoot things like at 15 feet rather than 10 feet with it. Anyway, you got to check it out. Check out our Facebook page. Just look for Gun Talk Media over there on Facebook. Also on Twitter, I'm at Gun Talk. Easy to find me there. I've been putting a number of links up today to interesting, crazy, weird stories. New York Times, Fox News, things that are going on. You can be the most informed person in your group if you are checking out the stories that I'm linking to on Twitter. Remember, I'm at Gun Talk over there. All right, our number here is 866-TALK-GUN. You've heard me before talk about this. You've heard other people say, well, why didn't that company just leave? They ought to just pack up and leave Massachusetts. They ought to just leave New York. And gun companies, they ought to just leave California. Well, it's not so easy. Easy for somebody else to say that. Yeah, you don't have to spend the money to move people, move equipment, move stuff. It's expensive and disruptive, and it's hard, and it's a big thing. Well, one company just did that, and joining us to talk about that, Paul Erhardt is the Director of Marketing for Apex Tactical Specialties, and he's a friend of mine. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
I am well. Apex Tactical. First, I guess we ought to tell people, what is it? What do you guys make? What is the story there?
Sure. Apex Tactical is a relatively small compared to, the giant names in the industry, the big manufacturers that you're familiar with. We're a relatively small business, just 34 employees, and we design and manufacture aftermarket drop-in parts for a variety of pistols, most notably Smith & Wesson line with the Shield, the M&P, their SDVE and Sigma series. We have a trigger for SIG 320, for Glocks, for the PPQ from Walther, and we're in development of other triggers to drop in. These are all upgrades in the performance, focusing primarily on striker-fired pistols.
So you take other manufacturers' guns, and you simply make them better by making better triggers for them.
Yeah, exactly. And frequently, our approach has been to take what criticism there is among the consumers. People complain about the reset in the M&P, and we designed our reset assist mechanism. We refer to it as the RAM that improves the reset so it's audible and tactile. We designed a sear for the M&P. That was the first aftermarket part that Apex designed, and from there it kind of snowballed. It was people didn't like the feel of the trigger; they wanted a replacement for the hinged trigger that is used in the M&P and the Shield, and it went from there. In the case of Walther with the PPQ, Walther actually approached us about designing a trigger as an aftermarket part to help sell their product to a broader group of shooters, knowing that the aftermarket helps sell the primary market. Just think of it as in cars and such. There's a lot of aftermarket parts for cars that people want to get and tune up their car with, and so they buy a specific car because they can upgrade it and improve it and customize it themselves. That's the same place we are.
Okay, and people can find out more about it at apextactical.com. So Apex was a California company. What happened?
California is what happened, Tom. Apex was founded by Randy Lee, who is a native Californian. He went to school and got an engineering degree at Cal Poly right there in San Luis Obispo. And during college, began gunsmithing to make extra money. The business grew. Scott Folk came on as co-owner, and they began manufacturing and design. And subsequently, we became, a 34-employee operation in California. And it started in a 500 square foot, small room essentially for gunsmithing, then a 6,000 square foot facility. And we quickly outgrew that with machinery and personnel, shipping, receiving, assembly, quality control, whole 9 yards. And it got to the point where they realized in order to grow to the next level, they'd have to, go to a larger building, make a serious long-term commitment. And it got to the point where they realized they could not move forward the way we want to in California. And give me a good example of this is when we develop a trigger for a gun, or any part for a gun, it requires a lot of testing, and that's a lot of range time. In California, there is a ban on high-capacity magazines. And now, with the recent passage on Election Day of Proposition 63, even the grandfathered high-capacity, standard capacity magazines are no longer legal. And so when you go to the range and you got to put 1,000 rounds in, an hour through a gun just to test a particular functionality, that's really hard to do, and a pain in the backside when you're stuck with 10-round magazines. And any of your listeners know loading a 10-round magazine to that 10th round is somewhat nightmarish. And just for R&D purposes, we weren't permitted to actually get the licensing required to have high-capacity magazines. And the worst part is manufacturers and distributors would not ship to us even though they know that we're not reselling the gun or transferring it out to the public. But because it was California, they're so reticent to send the gun in that we couldn't get new guns for testing. So if, Tom Gresham firearms manufacturer comes out with, the Tom Gresham P10, and you want to ship it to us, we couldn't get it. But now in Arizona, you could sit there and send it to us right now, and we could begin taking it apart and seeing, what we can and cannot develop for it to improve on the design. Not that a Tom Gresham gun would be anything but flawless.
Well, that would be because I go to my friends like Apex and said, all right, make this thing work like it's supposed to.
Well, I will tell you, that is becoming a not uncommon occurrence. In the last year, we have been approached and contacted by gun companies at the highest levels to look at firearms that they're making. Walther was fairly notable in saying, would you make a part for our PPQ, which was already out. Now we're moving towards that realm where a company says, we're coming out with a new striker-fired gun, and we would like, Randy and Scott to take a look at it and see what they could do. Randy Lee is arguably one of the best design engineers in the firearms industry, and Scott is equally capable in design, but he is if they're a 1-2 punch, he's the guy that actually makes it, something we can machine and develop into a part. And we've got companies that are asking us to take a look at guns, some of which, we can't mention, and others, are out there. And we've got customers who ask us to look at, do you make a trigger for this? If a gun is announced today, if you announced a new gun on your show right today, I guarantee you tomorrow I would see messages from people on Instagram, Facebook, and emails asking us if we had a trigger.
Hey, Paul, can I get you to hold on a second?
You bet.
I got an idea. When we come back, I want to ask you this. Aftermarket triggers, people will say, well, gee, I don't think I'd want to have one of those in my carry gun, my self-defense gun. We're going to ask Paul, what's the story there? Is that just an old wives' tale? What's going on? We're talking with Paul Erhardt from Apex Tactical. Check it out, apextactical.com. 866-TALK-GUN. Be right back.
Want to customize the look of your firearm and give it ultimate durability? Well, don't paint it, Cerakote it. Cerakote is a spray-on ceramic polymer coating that uses state-of-the-art technology to achieve superior abrasion resistance and corrosion protection. Field-proven and trusted by manufacturers and gun owners like you, Cerakote is the industry's unmatched performance leader. In lab testing and real-world applications, Cerakote outperforms the competition every time. See for yourself and find a local certified applicator near you at Cerakote.com. Choose the best. Choose Cerakote and finish strong.
When it's all on the line, you can count on Trijicon Optics. Earning its reputation in combat and on hunts in all corners of the world, Trijicon comes through. The new AccuPower rifle scopes feature battery-powered illuminated reticles, variable power, adjustable brightness, plus they're waterproof. The years of waiting, the dollars spent, your hunt of a lifetime comes down to a single moment. Get Trijicon quality. Trijicon.com. Trijicon.com.
If you carry a gun, you need training. Your concealed carry class was definitely not training. But time, money, and obligations keep you from spending days at a shooting school. The trusted folks at Gun Talk can help. Concealed Carry 1, our DVD featuring the VADA Group, covers what gun, what holster, how to carry, where to wear your gun, and much more. Visit shopguntalk.com. That's shopguntalk.com. Look, this really is life and death. Learn how to stay aware, how to get away, and how to fight if you must. At shopguntalk.com, you can get the 2 DVD set, including Fighting with the 1911 with Tiger McKee. No matter what gun you carry, this vital training info can save your life. Learn the draw, the stance, reloading, vital gear from Gun Talk. That's shopguntalk.com. shopguntalk.com.
As we celebrate 2 centuries in Remington country, it's humbling to think about all the ground we've covered. Since the infancy of our nation, we've journeyed with you every step of the way, helping shape the course of American history. Remington country is bigger than a place, and for the 200 years, it's been our highest honor supporting your freedoms and your way of life. To celebrate, Remington is giving away 200 guns. For a chance to win, tell us your story at 200sweepstakes.remington.com.
All right, back with the 866 Talk Gun. Tom Gresham here. We're talking with Paul Erhardt from Apex Tactical, makers of really good aftermarket triggers for a number of different handguns. And Paul, when we went to the break, I was throwing out that idea, and I know you guys get it all the time. People say, well, I just don't know if you had an aftermarket trigger on your gun and you used it in a self-defense situation, wouldn't that be something that they could use against you? So when you get that question at the various shows, what do you say?
Always our first answer is that they need to talk to their own lawyer regarding the laws in their state, could be county level regulation, maybe even a city regulation in larger cities, and they have to get clarification from their lawyer. So that's first and foremost, because we're not lawyers and we can't universally say that. Now, having said that, much of our business is in to consumers who have concealed carry guns. We make triggers that are, as we put them, action enhancement triggers and paired up with a duty carry kit so that you're getting a much better feel of a trigger, less sponginess, more crispness to the trigger, but you still maintain adequate pre-travel and over-travel. And you maintain in that 5.5, maybe even 6 pound range, suitable for duty carry use. So, you can, but we always say check with your lawyer about what your local regulation is.
And of course, you make triggers that are lighter specifically for the competition guys, right?
Yes, yeah, we have for the M&P is probably a top of the line trigger. It are for the our flat-face forward set trigger for the M&P is top of the line of all of our triggers. It is like putting a 1911 style trigger into a polymer striker fire gun. It's about as close as you're going to get. We never recommend that for carry because there is very short travel, but it's crisp, responsive, and it is, arguably and the best trigger out there. And it's entirely drop-in. It's not a gunsmith fit of any sort.
Nice. Okay, well, so you can get the right trigger for the use, which makes all the sense in the world. And for those who are saying, well, I really want that light one, you don't need a light trigger for a defensive duty gun. You just need a good trigger, and light doesn't necessarily mean good, right?
Oh, correct. There are a lot of variables into manufacture of parts for firearms. There's reliability. There's safety. You need to make sure that the trigger system you're installing into your pistol meets, and sustains the factory safety settings. So you don't lose any of those safety values built into the gun from the factory. You can't bypass the striker plunger, for instance, because that's where you end up failing drop tests and have accidental discharge if a firearm hits the ground. And we test our guns repeatedly in that vein to make sure what we're doing doesn't compromise any of the safety features involved. But you can use the gun from the factory. If that's what you're comfortable with, then by all means, keep it stock and run it stock. But if you don't like the trigger in the gun, then it's time to investigate what options are out there for you. Of course, we want you to consider ours, but that's not necessarily, it's up to you what you think is best for you. But we always do recommend if somebody's going concealed carry that they look at our duty carry kits with our action enhancement trigger. Because that fits that profile that one would expect for, a quality carry trigger performance, as opposed to the high-end competition, high-speed, low drag. And in the end, Tom, it's always going to be about training, and you need to train. You can't just, tune up your gun and never shoot it, and then hope one day you do everything right when that day comes and something goes bad. You got to go out, train, and practice with the gun.
People are going to think that I put you up to that because I'm always talking about training. I didn't even ask the question, and you just come right in with training. But then that's because you're a gun guy, and you have lived in the competition, the training world, as well as the duty world. So I mean, you know the drill. But it's really about the headspace. It's what's between your ears is the primary thing in all of this.
Yeah, exactly. There's a stress event. And you need to be ready to act appropriately in that stressful environment. Competition helps with that, certainly. It's a false stress of a timer, but competition isn't training. It's training of your skill set, not of the incident or the variables that unfold in a shooting event, personal defense event. But there are plenty of trainers out there, and there are plenty of great instructors and courses out there to take, and you want to always shooting skills are perishable, so you always want to be training. I mean, you would think, we both know Kim Rohde, she's ungodly great at shotgun shooting. You would think after as many Olympic medals as she has, she could sit back and do nothing, just show up and win. But shooting is a perishable skill. And so she trains every day, day in and day out, and shoots some ungodly amount of targets each day. And she used to shoot like 1,000 rounds a day. Why? Because she's got to perform at that moment in a very stressful environment, and she's got to continue training. And it's not, apples to apples when you're talking personal defense, but even she has to train constantly. So if she has to train as good as she is, you and I know we have to train. We
need to train too. I appreciate it. Hey, Paul, thank you so much. Love the story about the move. Congratulations to Apex and getting the heck out of California. Great move, and the company just continues to grow. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much, Tom. Appreciate it, and happy holidays and Merry Christmas to you and the Gun Talk Nation.
All right, appreciate that. Paul Erhardt, Apex Tactical, apextactical.com. Let's see, Lars is on line 3, driving in North Dakota where it's got to be cold. Hey, Lars, what's the temperature on your dashboard there?
Right now it's right about 11 degrees it's saying, but there's some wind chill.
All right, what did you end up with? It looks like you got you some guns.
Yeah, I ended up inheriting a couple guns. It was not the way I wanted to inherit them, but I did. I've got a Wyndham 223. It says /556, and I'll be honest with you, I'm actually kind of old school bolt action, lever action kind of guy. I've never actually owned an AR, and I guess I have just a couple quick questions. The distance. What is the actual distance? I guess the accuracy of that particular gun, and something I'm looking at, maybe a scope. What kind of a scope that would go good on it, and also what type of rounds besides? I understand it's a 223 or 556, but like maybe a name brand that cycles well in that particular gun, and maybe the grain of bullets that shoot better in that gun.
Okay, I'm going to run through them quickly because you got a lot of questions there. First of all, the Wyndham is a really high-quality AR, so that'll work real well for you. You're in for a real treat. You're going to find that ARs are fun to shoot, almost no recoil with that cartridge. 5.56 versus 2.23. Consider them in that gun interchangeable because it has both marked on the barrel, so you can use either 5.56 or 2.23. Interchangeable, don't worry about it. Bullet weight. Light bullets go faster, and generally your inexpensive practice ammo is going to be that. As far as how far it can shoot accurately, that's a factor of how accurate the rifle is. I don't know in that particular, that's an individual thing. One rifle is more accurate than another, but there's no reason with good ammo, if that thing shoots well, that's not a 400 to 600 yard rig for target shooting. For scope, that depends on what you want to do with it and how far you want to shoot. If it's a self-defense gun and you want a scope on it, put a 1 to 4 variable on it, or even a red dot, 0 magnification. If you want to shoot at some distance, something like a 2 to 7, 1 to 6, even a 3 to 9 works real well. You're going to get to play with it. Go to YouTube, look up all the videos. Go to the Brownells website, brownells.com. Find out all about ARs. You can, once you start learning, you'll go, oh, well, I could do this, and I could do that, and I can change this part, and I can change this upper. You can actually change the caliber of an AR by swapping out the upper receiver versus the lower. Again, you're going to have to do some research. You'll find out what the lowers and the uppers are, but boy, are you in for a bunch of fun. That is, I tell you, ARs are just a blast.
Want your opinion to make a difference? Log on to our website and take the Gun Talk poll, www.guntalk.com. Now, once again, opinion page regular contributor for the Washington Times, here's Tom.
All right, back with you, straight to the phones. Line 4, Dale's with us, hot in Louisiana with a problem. Hey, Dale, what's going on here?
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call this afternoon. I wanted to talk about 380s. My wife has one that doesn't work very well, and she kind of selected the 380 because her wrists and hands aren't real strong. And I was just wondering if you could give any recommendations, maybe not by brand. I don't know what you're able to do, but say maybe even the top 3 380s that you might think are really good as far as quality, accuracy, and usability.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. And I don't mind naming some brands here. First of all, what we need to do is qualify the 380 pistol because it can come in like the teeny tiny versions like the Ruger LCP or the Keltec. Those are really small. Then we have kind of the next step up, which is, I don't know what you'd call it, compact. Ruger makes some of those. You've got, let's see, SIG has 380s. A number of different companies have them. Then you've got almost, not quite, but almost full-size 380s. So first question is, what is she looking for? Is it like for pocket carry? Is it for purse carry? Is it for home defense? So that would help me narrow it down.
Well, I think pretty much home defense. It doesn't have to be real small.
Okay. All right. That being the case, I would look. Here's the thing: if I said to you, name me the top gun companies, the names that pop into your mind, you're going to come up with what? Give me 3, 4, 5 gun company names, manufacturers.
Well, in my mind, not being real knowledgeable about the subject, I would think Colt, Ruger, and maybe Beretta, but I don't know that much about Beretta.
Smith & Wesson, Springfield Armory, Sig Sauer. Okay. All of those companies are making and here's the reason that you know those names is because they have consistently made good products forever and ever, and they stand behind them. So, having said that, now we're in the realm of saying, okay, let's buy a quality gun, but again, your wife needs to go select it. And if it's just for home defense, don't buy tiny. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, I like the way that feels. It's small in my hand. Yeah, but they're hard to shoot. They're difficult to shoot accurately, and they're not much fun because they have a lot of kick. The larger the gun, the heavier the gun, the less recoil. And the other thing, and people don't think about this, if a gun is larger, if the barrel is longer, the spring doesn't have as much compression on it, and the slide is much easier to work. So I would go with the biggest 380 that she could possibly handle from a quality manufacturer. And that's where, frankly, you're just going to have to, I would go to a local gun store or stores. I would do some looking online. But when it comes time to actually select, she has to go put her hands on it and say yes, no. And if she can shoot it at a place where you can rent guns, that's the best. I'm not sure if you have access to that, but if she can, that is absolutely the best.
Okay. Can I mention what it is that she has? I don't want to talk about it like a specific brand name if I shouldn't.
Yeah, no, you can.
Okay, well, she's got a little Cobra. I don't know what the model was, and I wasn't around when she bought it. But the problem we were having was when I shot it, it wouldn't hit the target. And when she shot it, it wouldn't hit the target. In other words, I'm talking about a 10-yard target at the range, and when you aim at the center of the target, you don't even hit the paper.
All right, I'm gonna ask a hard question here, because you're going to understand. Has anybody else shot that gun? Do we know it's the gun and not the shooters?
Well, she said that a friend of hers and her stepson had shot the gun and said that it did hit the target, but she and I couldn't get it to hit the target.
Well,
and it was a Cobra, so she's really looking for a better gun.
Yeah. Well, what she needs is a bigger gun, more than likely. Okay. Now, here's the real question. And this is just going to be pointed. I don't know how well you shoot or how well she shoots. I don't know if you've ever taken shooting lessons. But my guess is that the gun is actually quite accurate. My guess is that both of you are missing the target because of the way you're pulling the trigger. And I would bet that if you took it to a shooting range and had an instructor shoot it, he or she would shoot it quite well. Now, having said that, if it's difficult for you to shoot, then it's not a good gun for you. But I'm just saying that without some kind of a training and lesson in trigger manipulation, then, that could be part of the issue. But let's put that aside. I'm thinking that a bigger gun from a major manufacturer is the way to go. But if you can possibly get to some place where she can rent a gun or try a gun. Now, you live in Houghton?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clark's Guns, Clark Custom Gun is down the road there.
We know where they are.
All right. I would maybe give them a call, see what they have, see if they have anything you can try. They have a shooting range there. There are other stores in the area you could try those. But also, I would strongly encourage both of you to take a lesson with an instructor, because I'll bet you the gun is probably accurate. It's probably difficult to shoot. So I'm not saying that you should stay with it. I'm just saying that don't assume that the gun is junk. Some guns are just, Oh, yeah, I like this. Jim gives me a note. He says, don't be tacky. He says, if you find a gun you like, buy it there. So if you go shopping somewhere and you find a gun there, don't go try to find it cheaper somewhere else because you used their time. It's a good point. I like that attitude. Jim's typing me notes out here. So, but yeah, go find something, go poke around, find something that really feels good, that shoots well, and buy a major brand. Any of the major brands is fine. They all work just fine, but you're going to find the larger the gun, the easier it is to shoot, honestly.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. I wish you luck with it, and congratulations on thinking about taking care of yourself. So there you go. 866-TALK-GUN. If you have any thoughts on that, maybe something I left out, by all means, help me out. I can use all the help I can get, that's for sure. Also, what's your next gun? I don't know why, but I'm really kind of thinking revolvers right now. Boy, I'm just looking at this list of new stuff that Ruger's brought out. 44 Special revolver. Ooh. A Red Hawk, a .357 Magnum, 8-round, 357 Magnum with a 2.75-inch barrel. Brand new stuff. Very cool. 866-TALK-GUN. Yeah, I know, I'm self-enabling over here. I want them all. We'll be right back.
The XDM 3.8 Compact from Springfield Armory is 2 guns in 1. Use as your concealed carry gun with a compact magazine and use the extended magazine for home defense. Carry 13 rounds of 9mm in the compact magazine and a whopping 19 rounds in the extended magazine. To see the entire family of Springfield Armory XDM pistols, go to SpringfieldArmory.com. That's SpringfieldArmory.com.
For 36 years, the U.S. Sportsmen's Alliance has been fighting to protect hunting, fishing, and trapping for sportsmen from coast to coast. Today, we are under constant attack from extremist animal rights groups who want to end your ability to hunt in the U.S. Join us to protect our sporting heritage and our way of life outdoors. To join or for more information on how you can help, go to ussportsman.org. That's ussportsman.org.
Behind every revolution is a patriot. Just as this great country was founded on the ideals of many, the new Mossberg Patriot is the sum of all that came before it. Reliable, timeless, built to last. The classic American hunting rifle, with a heritage forged over generations, has come home. Mossberg, built rugged, proudly American.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
Looking for the perfect gift for the gun owner on your list? Alien Gear Holsters is proud to offer the most comfortable concealable holsters on the planet. Grab an award-winning Cloak Tuck 3.0 starting at just $43.88. This American-made holster is designed with a comfortable form-fitting neoprene and a spring steel core for enhanced retention. Its slim profile and tuckable design is perfect for concealed carry. Learn more at aliengearholsters.com.
Let's go talk with Paul. He's in Tampa, Florida on line 3. Paul, talk to me about post offices.
Well, I tried the tactic which I think you would approve of. Rather than do an open carry and upset a lot of people and get arrested in the post office, I engaged the postmaster in conversation and said, I had to park off post office property and stow my gun in the car, and there would have been no danger to anybody if I stowed it in my my car in your parking lot, or just brought it in. And I was surprised. She said, yeah, I have problems with that too. I wish I could carry in my own post office.
So the postmaster there would like to be able to carry in her own post office, but she can't. That is one of the things that people have talked about, that maybe under Trump we can get reversed. It used to be, and the way it was written was, you're prohibited from carrying into a post office except if it is legal or for good reason, or I can't remember exactly how it was worded. And so a lot of us just said, well, I'm legal, I've got a carry permit, I'm good to go. And then we got the ruling that says, nope, can't carry in a post office, and you can't even carry on the grounds. You can't have it in your car on the parking lot. So that's where we are at the moment. So I am hopeful that the Second Amendment task force that is advising Trump will have this as one of the things that it can undo. No reason for that at all. I mean, basically I agree. Get rid of all gun-free zones. I get it in courthouses. I do. I understand that. But beyond that, maybe, police stations I can kind of see, maybe, sort of, but then, I can argue it both ways. But everybody else,
beyond that, in the post office. I today had to mail a gun, FedEx, to somebody in Arizona. Mm-hmm. But as a private citizen, I can't ship that to the post office either. And I have to ask myself, what are we protecting?
Actually, you can. That's the weird part. If you're taking a long gun, shotgun, or rifle, you can take it to the post office and you can mail it.
This was a pistol.
Okay, so pistol, you can't do that. You cannot send, only a dealer can send a pistol through the mail. Regular folks cannot. But at long guns, you can. But no, if it's a pistol, it's got to go FedEx or UPS. So, yeah, I know. It's silly, it's stupid, it's nuts. And with any luck, we'll get it changed. Keep those cards and letters going to the Trump administration, and also when they get in, we'll work on that. Appreciate the call. Denny on 1, Tulsa, Oklahoma. Denny, Grant?
Afternoon, Tom. How are you?
What's up?
Say, I am looking at an article on the internet, and it's about how the Congress approved the importation of 87,000 M1 Garand rifles from Korea.
Correct.
But that the Obama administration banned them, wouldn't allow it to go through because of what they consider to be high-capacity magazines.
Yeah, they said they thought that maybe they could fall into the wrong hands, of which, of course, you're thinking, wait a minute, if we bring those into the country, when they are sold to people, the FBI has to okay every single purchase of these guns. So you're saying the FBI is incompetent, or you're saying you don't trust the FBI? What do you? And all it is just a gun ban. It's just another Obama gun ban. And for those who say, well, he can't do anything about Congress, yes, he does. He stopped the importation of 80+ thousand Garands into the country. So I think that's going to be absolutely at the very top of the list because, and here's the thing, you don't need an act of Congress for that. Trump can just sign something, boom, it's gone, done, it's over. And we'll see those come in. With any luck, go through the civilian marksmanship program. You'll be able to get them through that.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the way it should be done. So I'm like you. I'm expecting payback. I mean, we put the Trump administration in, and I want something day one like this. I would like that all reversed, and I would like the people, the bureaucrats that came up with that crap, to be reassigned. Let's put it that way.
I'm hopeful that there's a serious attitude adjustment that takes place throughout a lot of these agencies. And, a lot of these folks have been there a long time, and they see presidents come and go, and they're thinking, I'll just sit this one out. I'll keep a low profile. I would hope that Trump would put somebody in charge of each of those who says, okay, I'm going to have an assistant your job is to simply go through the entire agency, the entire department, and root out all of these people and get them out of here. Don't care how long they've been there. Don't care if they've got a civil service. Get them out and say, here's the deal. This is the new rules. This is what we're working with. If you can't get behind this, we're going to get you out, and we're going to have a whole host of people that do nothing but go through these agencies and root you people out, and you get to go work in the private sector. Oh, man, that would scare the devil out of me. 866 Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. This is Gun Talk. All right, barf alert. Barf alert. I'm seeing the story that Michelle Obama says, we are feeling what not having hope feels like. You'll just have to pardon me if I'm not really empathetic, or do I care? This from the woman who 8 years ago said, after Barack Obama was elected, for the first time in my life, I feel proud of my country. She had never in her life felt proud of the United States of America. And only when Barack Obama was elected president did she feel proud of it. And now that Trump has been elected, she says, we feel the difference now. See, now we're feeling what not having hope feels like. Hope, she says, is necessary. It's a necessary oh, barf. Good grief. Goodbye. Get out. God, I'm so glad to see them going. Bill's in Wichita on line 2. Hey, Bill, what'd you buy? Bill in Wichita. Hey, Bill. No, he didn't want to talk about his gun. Okay, but I want to talk about that. All right, Charlie's on 4 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Hey, Charlie, you there?
Yeah, Tom, I'm willing to talk.
Great. What you thinking here?
I got a question about suppressors, maybe 2 questions.
Sure.
Recently I got married, a year and a half ago, transplanted from the Ozarks to a more heavily populated area. I've got room to shoot, but I'd like to be quiet for the neighbors.
Sure.
And I'm wondering if suppressor on 30-06, if that same suppressor will work on a 30-30 since they're both 30 caliber. They will.
Do you have a suppressor on a 30-06 now?
I do not. I've never been around suppressors, and I didn't know if it would, just how big of a difference it would be on that caliber.
It's still going to be loud. It's not quiet because you're going to be shooting something that has a supersonic crack to the bullet. When anything that goes over 1,100 feet per second, it's going to crack. The suppressor takes down the boom that comes out the muzzle, but as the bullet goes down range, you're going to get that crack like a sonic boom, so that's still going to be there. What are you doing with the rifle? I see a note here that says something about teaching your daughter.
Well, that's another thing. When it comes time to introduce my daughter to firearms, I was wondering if the suppressor that had any effect on recoil and if it might make it easier for her to learn how to shoot with a suppressor.
Oh, absolutely. How old is she now?
Well, maybe a little early in my thinking. She just turned 6 months this week.
Well, this gives you time to put in your paperwork. Here's what I would suggest. If you want to get a suppressor for your 06, absolutely. And yes, it will work on a 30-30, both 30 caliber. But as your daughter gets older, at a certain point, things will have changed by then. But I'm going to strongly suggest not starting her off with a 30-06, but rather, obviously, with a 22. And let me tell you, if you really want to have fun, put a suppressor on a 22. Holy cow, that is a ball, because they really do get quiet. And there's no recoil, of course. And the other thing is, when it's time to move up to center fire, think 223, think AR, think modern sporting rifle. That is our modern American rifle, the AR-15 platform. Almost no recoil, adjustable stocks. They fit kids, they fit adults. They are just great to shoot. They are adjustable, interchangeable, modifiable. It is the great American rifle these days. And for those of us who are older, who have gray hair and may have used nothing but bolts, guns, if you've not shot an AR, you're in for a treat. You owe it to yourself to go do that. But fair warning, once you do, you're going to want one. Or like me, you're going to want more than one. That's okay. I got to build one up, by the way. I'm going to try building one. Maybe build a 300 Blackout. Haven't done that yet, but I know people who can help me. 866-TALK-GUN. What's on your gun ballistic shopping list?